Well, Ray, it's incompetent and unaware. Did you know there's actual research and psychology behind the Dilbert moments you see in your life? Those moments where incompetent people get promoted and competent people end up making them look good? The Dilbert cartoons have it right. Unskilled and unaware. How not to get trapped by your cognitive bias and be outmaneuvered by other people's illusory superiority. Sounds serious? You bet it is. Be here after Weather and Sports for Saturday morning coaching. So glad you're with us this morning because star power coaching is important in these uncertain times. We have one goal in these sessions: prepare you for continued success. Sometimes you are your biggest enemy as you compete with the incompetent and unaware. You suffer from, the curse of competence. Our purpose today is learning not to sell yourself short. Coach wants you to recognize the power of cognitive biases so that you don't watch incompetent people advance over you. Last week, I had this exact conversation with a very smart engineer. But first, the research. It is called the Dunning-Kruger effect. The phenomenon was first tested in a series of experiments in 1999 by David Dunning and Justin Kruger of the Department of Psychology at Cornell University. The study was inspired by MacArthur Wheeler, a 44-year-old man who robbed two banks in Pittsburgh in 1995. He covered his face with lemon juice, believing that because lemon juice is usable as invisible ink, it would prevent his face from being recorded on surveillance cameras. Dunning noted that earlier studies suggested that ignorance of standards of performance lies behind a great deal of incorrect self-assessment and competence. Dunning and Kruger proposed that, for a given skill, incompetent people will fail to recognize their own lack of skill, fail to recognize genuine skill in others, fail to recognize the extent of their inadequacy, and recognize and acknowledge their own lack of skill after they are exposed to training for that skill. Dunning has drawn an analogy. If you're incompetent, you can't know you're incompetent. The skills you need to produce a right answer are exactly the skills you need to recognize what a right answer is. The Dunning-Kruger effect is a type of cognitive bias, meaning you don't think clearly. I counted 96 of these biases and have the link posted for you at myvaluetree.com under star power. So, restated, the Dunning-Kruger effect is the inability of unskilled people to recognize their own ineptitude and evaluate their own ability accurately. But wait, the research also suggests a corollary. Highly skilled individuals may underestimate their relative competence. They may erroneously assume that tasks that are easy for them are also easy for others. So let's go back to the engineer I was talking with last week. He's in his late 30s, has a young family, has managed his money wisely, and is obviously smart and competent. He has a degree in engineering and a master's degree and another degree. He posted for a supervisor job, the next logical step in his progression. Just before the interview, he withdrew his application believing there were other people more qualified. More qualified? He became a victim of the Dunning-Kruger corollary. He underestimated his relative competence and incorrectly assumed that tasks easy for him are also easy for others. Incompetent people don't know they are incompetent. They show well and portray a strong image. To an unsuspecting and unsavvy interviewer, they come across as confident. Packaging sells. Why do companies spend so much money on packaging? It attracts your attention and you buy. The product may be exactly the same, but the box sure did lure you in. I've heard these people referred to as stuffed suits. All show and no go. Look good on the outside with nothing on the inside. How sad that this engineer's competence kept him from excelling. It has been a fascinating observation throughout my career that incompetent people excel. Once hired, it takes a year for their inabilities to show up. By then, no one wants to lose face for bringing them in, so they get a nice separation package and a headhunter who does a great job placing them once again. And the cycle repeats. They can make a great living on the separation packages received. I'm watching this happen in another organization. Recent changes have created the possibility of an opening in the executive team. Having worked with this group, one of the people angling for the job shows well, is enthusiastic, and appears smart. But in reality, this person has a long list of excuses for why they are not delivering on their current work and an equally long list of why they are perfect for a promotion. The Dunning-Kruger effect once again. They fail to recognize their own lack of skill. They fail to recognize genuine skill in others, and they fail to recognize the extent of their inadequacy. But the saving grace is that exposure to training helps them recalibrate to reality. As a competent person, share your skills with others, thereby developing an appreciation in them of what they must learn. As a competent person, do not downplay what you know. Speak positively of your competency and what you can do for the organization. Give your boss good data upon which to make promotion decisions. Do not let your cognitive biases deprive you of growth. Beware the curse of competence, and remember Hanlon's razor. Never attribute to malice that which is adequately explained by stupidity. These are our days. I'm Coach Davis.